The London Butcher, or Christoph Mitchell, or Arthur Wood. Imagine reliving the same events and dates twice. Was a gruesome crime. But what made it even more horrifying was that every single detail had happened before. The story began on September 9, 2018, in the suburb of Shoreham, London, when the police received a report from neighbors about a horrific murder. A mother and her 4 children had been brutally killed, their bodies found in a disturbing state. The scene was horrifying beyond imagination. Law enforcement and forensic teams arrived at the crime scene, but there were no signs of forced entry or any evidence of a robbery. Mother Emily Bradford was 27 years old, and her 4 children were Henry, 7 years old, Michael, Sophia, Emma, the youngest, only 2 years old. Father, however, was completely missing since the crime occurred, raising immediate suspicion. Who could commit such a brutal act? Why would a man kill his wife and children in such a horrifying manner? During the investigation, a neighbor approached the authorities and accused the father, Arthur Wood, of being the killer. But what was shocking was that this man was known for his calm nature and had no apparent conflicts with anyone. How could someone like him commit such a massacre? After the initial investigation, the police confirmed that Arthur Wood was the main suspect, and a search operation was launched to capture him. His picture was broadcasted across media platforms. But then something unexpected happened. Well-known crime journalist Mr. Nicholas Parker noticed something strange in the suspect's photo. He was sure he had seen this face before. It wasn't just a hunch. He was absolutely certain. After a few moments of intense focus, he realized that this man was actually Christoph Mitchell from Manchester, a person who had been sentenced to death in a previous murder case dating back to 2009. How could Arthur Wood be the same person as Christoph Mitchell, who was supposed to have been executed years ago? Next day, the police announced that the suspect had been arrested in Manchester, confirming Nicholas Parker's suspicions. This led to the following questions. How did Christoph escape his supposed fate? Who exactly was Arthur Wood? And what was the crime he had committed in 2009? The origins of Christoph Mitchell. Christoph was known for his quiet demeanor among his family. Born in Manchester, he had been very attached to his mother since childhood. However, he struggled academically and lacked ambition in school. At 13 years old, he dropped out and moved to London to work for a relative, earning a small daily wage. He dreamed of becoming a successful businessman, and after several years, he entered the real estate business, gradually finding success. In 2004, he settled in Hackney, London, working in property sales. Frequently traveled to Manchester, where he was married and had children. However, despite his outward success, he had an ongoing dispute with a close friend over money. The first murder, September 9, 2009. 2009, a bitter financial dispute erupted between Christoph and his friend regarding a commission from a property sale. Feeling betrayed, Christoph decided to take matters into his own hands. On September 9, 2009, he purchased a sharp weapon, a knife, and plastic bags. He lured his friend to his apartment, pretending everything was normal. After chatting for a while, he suddenly attacked, striking his victim fatally. Uncertain of his death, he proceeded to dismember the body and place the remains into plastic bags. Then, as if nothing had happened, he casually went to a nearby cafe, had tea, and engaged in normal conversations. At 3 a.m., he transported the bags in a large suitcase, took a taxi, and disposed of the remains in a waste disposal site before heading to Manchester. A few days later, the police discovered the crime, arrested him, and in 2009, he was sentenced to death. Great Escape, 2011. In 2011, chaos erupted in the prison due to a riot. Taking advantage of the situation, Christoph managed to escape, disguising himself in women's clothing. He returned to his hometown in Manchester, where his family assumed he had been granted a pardon. No one questioned his return. After a few months, realizing that the police would eventually search for him in Manchester, he decided to move back to London under a new identity, Arthur Wood. There he met Emily, convincing her that he was a successful businessman. He officially married, and he used his real name, taking advantage of security lapses during that period. They had 4 children together and settled in Shoreham in 2016. The Shoreham Massacre, September 9, 2018. By 2018, Christoph, now Arthur, began to suspect that his wife was involved with another man. One night, after confronting her, she slapped him, igniting a deep rage within him. He decided to take revenge in the most horrifying way possible. He purchased a strong sedative and mixed it into the household water supply. At midnight, once he was sure that everyone in the house had consumed the water, he acted. He attacked his wife first, then proceeded to murder his 4 children, ensuring no one was left alive. Just as he had done in 2009, he disguised himself in women's clothing, took a train to Manchester, and attempted to disappear. However, this time, authorities were one step ahead. His phone calls were tracked, leading to his arrest before he could reach his final destination. In the end, Christoph Mitchell received a second death sentence. But this time, there was no escape. The story of Arthur Wood, Christoph Mitchell, the man who repeated the same crime in the same way on the same date, exactly 9 years apart, had finally reached its conclusion.